Damn, I've been muted all this fucking time. What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Luvseat, shouted. Luvseat, shouted. Back with another video today, man. Another devlog. Yes, man. We have made a lot of progress in the past 2 weeks. I actually wanted to post this video last week, but yeah, this shit kind of hard, bro. But 2 weeks later, I'm actually very proud of where we are right now, bro. We have hit a lot of milestones, solved a lot of problems, and of course, we created new problems. It wouldn't be fun if we wasn't creating new problems, man. I'm seeing that this is what being a game dev is all about. It's about problem solving. Problem solving 101. So we gonna get right into it, man, because we got a lot to discuss, man. I want to explain some things to y'all, but I want to make this video short as possible because I know y'all attention span ain't that long, and a lot of this shit gonna be Chinese to y'all anyway. But you know, I'm a little bit of a geek. So the milestone that I'm most proud of in this past 2 weeks is the fact that I'm actually starting to understand this coding thing. So a lot of these things that I'm implementing in this game are things that I've learned through other people's YouTube videos, but what I do is I make sure I take the time to study up on the code and understand why they worked. So I don't just copy and paste and just go on. Like, I make sure I understand it because I want to be able to use it later. And one of the things that I have damn near mastered is script communication, which is definitely something that's very necessary. It's probably like the biggest component in making a video game, period. So I'm definitely on that. Last video I was telling y'all about the problem that I was having with my damage animation. Out of nowhere they stopped working and I didn't know why they stopped working. Finally figured it out. So apparently all the colliders and rigid bodies that make up a ragdoll can't be detected as collision while an animation is going. So what I had to do is go to the top layer of the player itself and add rigid bodies and colliders there. Those are the colliders that detect the actual collision. Now with a little bit of coding, I had to deactivate the ragdoll components so that this would work. And luckily for me, that killed 2 birds with 1 stone, because now he can't walk out the ring no more. He's not walking through the ropes no more because that collider pretty much keeps him in place now. So done with the character controller. We ain't got to use the character controller, dog. We moving on rigid bodies, man. So that problem is solved. Thank you, Lord. With all that being said, my ragdoll actually activates realistically now. I'll explain why. Right now we're in my player script. So right up top we have the main components that make the character himself. We have the animator that controls all his animations, the collider and rigid bodies that let him detect collisions from punches and the ring, and his maximum health, which is obviously going to be 100. Under that we have references to every other script that's attached to this player. This is for script communication. Under that we have 2 arrays for the collider and the rigid bodies, which is basically going to make up all the ragdoll components when we put it to work. Under that we have his actual health reading, we have references to both his fists, and we have the sound that plays when he gets hit. Right here in the start method, we basically tell Unity to grab every reference that we just explained up top. And right here we're going to grab all the components that create the ragdoll and disable them. And at the bottom we're basically going to activate his rigid body and his box collider so he can be hit. Here under the on trigger enter method, this is basically where he detects collisions. It only works if he's getting hit by a hand, of course. If he gets hit by a hand, then it calls the damage method. The damage method basically takes away the damage, plays the damage animation, and plays the sound. If his health is under 1, it calls the knockout method. And under the knockout method, we pretty much reverse everything that we did in the start method. We activate all the ragdoll parts and we deactivate every script that's attached to him, and we call the end game method from the game over script. The end game method of the game over script basically calls the winner method of whichever player won. In this case it won't work because we're player 1 and we're not the one that got knocked out. Player 2 is the one that got knocked out. So player 2 is actually going to reference the end game 2 method, which is going to call the winner method of player 1. The winner method is identical to the knockout method because we activate all his ragdoll components so that the other ragdoll can't fall through his body. But the difference is we don't disable the animator, because if we disable the animator, then he turns into a ragdoll. And that wouldn't be fair to him because he ain't the one that got knocked the fuck out. And in both these methods, we deactivate the gamepad, because if we don't deactivate the gamepad during the knockout, then you get this type of shit. Another problem that I was having was that my punches were landing twice. Meaning, if I throw a jab, it lands when it goes in them and it lands again when it comes out. That was actually a pretty easy fix. So like I said, in the start function, all of the ragdoll components are disabled. His fists are part of that ragdoll component. So I created a method or an event called disable fist, enable fist. So going into the animation itself, there's a point where the fist collider actually activates, and then when the punch is finished, it deactivates. So now it only lands once and it can miss. The last problem that I solved was a small one, but it's actually a big deal. Whenever my players would collide with each other, one of them would end up flying into the air briefly. But the thing is, whenever it flew up in the air, the script that makes them look at each other was keeping them looking at each other. So in turn, it made them rotate in a funny way to still be looking at each other while this dude was in the air. So you got one dude diagonally in the air and one dude diagonally laying in the damn ring. So I had to fix that, and it was an easy fix. All I had to do was take this line right here and add it in so that even when that happens, the value of the y-axis is always 0, so it's not going up and down. So now he just stays put and keeps looking at him. Now for the problems. So right now, the issue that I'm having is I'm trying to differentiate head punches and body punches, but I'm trying to make it accurate. I'm trying to actually make him aim for the head, aim for the body, and actually be able to hit him, but still be able to miss if he moves out the way. The problem that I'm having is I can't get the hands to return back to the body. So he just leaves his arms back there. I do have a small fix to it right now, because when he aims for the body, it actually deactivates when I let go of the punch modifier, but if I go for headshots, it don't activate unless I press that punch modifier. And of course, it doesn't look realistic. His hands are out and it just snaps back. So I'm trying to fix that right now. What makes me mad is that I've been trying to use the same method that I use for the punches only landing once, by using an event to trigger the aim when the punch gets to a certain point and then deactivates when the punch gets to the next point. It won't work for some reason, so I gotta think of another way to make this work. Last but not least, which this is the dumbest problem in the world. I never thought that I was gonna come into this issue, but yeah, so for the past couple weeks, I've been trying to get my PS4 controllers to work with this computer, but for some reason, my controllers won't connect to the computer. I think they just raggedy. Honestly, I've had them for a while, and my USB ports is all fucked up. But that's besides the point. Windows is a Microsoft platform, so I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna just go ahead and get some Microsoft accessories. So went and got an Xbox controller. Yeah, I actually like this thing, it's pretty nice, but we PlayStation gang over here, don't forget it. So right now, I'm in the process of transferring all of these controls to the controller. The punches work fine, got all the punches. Haven't quite figured out how to do the uppercut yet, because in order for me to do the uppercut, I have to be able to press 2 buttons at one time, and I still haven't figured out how to code that yet, but we're getting there. The biggest problem is that I can't quite get the movement right, and I don't get that because I thought that was gonna be the simplest part, but for some reason, when I move the left stick, I can only get him to move left and right. I can't get him to move forward and backward. When I do get him to move on 2 axes, did I say that right? Axes? He moves on the wrong 2 axes. He moves on the wrong 2. He's moving on the X and the Y, meaning he's moving left, right, up, and down. But I need him to move on the X and the Z, left, right, forward, back. I don't know how to code that just yet, but I'm gonna figure that out real soon. But I'm having some trouble with that right now, and it's honestly pissing me the fuck off. But all in all, I'm happy with the progress that we have made. Man, we are in a good place right now, and we got a few things to work on. We're very close to having something playable. So my goals for the next video, of course, are to fix this controller issue, figure out the movement, and get the movement animations working with it as well. I'm gonna fix my target finder with the punches so we can start getting some head and body punches. Then we gotta differentiate from head and body damage, which I kinda got some ideas on how I'm gonna implement that, but that's a whole nother video. And then once we get all that done, we can start on our defense system. Yeah, oh, that shit gonna be nice. That shit gonna be nice, bro. But anyway, man, it's your boy Luvseat. Shout it, man. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Leave a like if you're rocking with this video, man. It does help the channel grow. And I will see y'all boys in the next one, bro. Peace.
Couple bands make me clip off in the socket. Hey, fuck a chopper, I'ma hit him with a rocket. Nonsense, nonsense, nonsense. Senorita, help me come up on the profit. But the devils and the demons try to stop it. Hey, you can hate me, but you loving how I rock it. Yeah. Do this nigga named Low. He act like he's sliding, the nigga say he can go.